My turn for the note sheet. I get to work off Microsoft OneNote. It's my turn. Skip Bayless. It's my turn. Jack McMullen, Peter Apple, Just Baseball Show on Thursday, October 12th. We've got 3 games to recap. The Phillies thrashing of the Atlanta Braves and Bryce Harper staring into Orlando Arcia's soul. You've got the Astros who finished off the Minnesota Twins. And we're recording in the 9th inning of Diamondbacks Dodgers right now. So I'm going to refrain from saying that it was desert power, shout out Timothy Chalamet, that swept the LA Dodgers, but we will talk about that game last. This was a long day of baseball and a great day of baseball. It started at 5 o'clock, and here we are. We just hit the record button at 11:45 p.m. I had it like 8 p.m. Celsius, so I'm feeling all right. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm just running high off playoff baseball. I keep telling you, we're texting too. It's like, yeah, it's getting late. We should hop on the record. And I keep saying, the Phillies, this whole thing, and we're going to talk about it in a second, that gave me enough energy. I don't know if I'm going to be able to sleep. And I'm going to be at Game 4 in Citizens Bank. So if you're listening to this and you're going to be at the game, come say what's up. But before we get into anything, all of this is brought to you by the king of sportsbooks, and that is BetMGM. Use promo code JustBaseball when you sign up and deposit into your newly created account. Download the BetMGM Sports app on iOS or Android, or visit BetMGM.com. Place your first bet offer and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if it loses. If the bet does lose, your bonus bets will be available once the wager is settled. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 or older, and terms and conditions apply. That stare down. That beautiful. Stare down. I mean, that's
Twice.
Art. That's
Twice.
Beautiful. Twice.
Yeah, that's the thing. Once is, okay, he clearly heard. Twice is, oh my God, he's doing the Pat Mahomes count to 10, like the guys that were picked before him. We have this conversation, not a lot, but it's a sentiment that I have loved, because I've always thought about it. The best players, regardless of sport on planet Earth, need something to keep the fire alive, because the fire can die out. Like a Novak Djokovic, like Novak should be tired of winning Grand Slams by now, but this guy somehow manufactures more fire. And he's in his mid-30s and he continues to win Grand Slams. There are guys, Tom Brady's a great example, that have accomplished everything you can accomplish, and they still look to move the goalposts. And Bryce Harper, I mean, it's been so well documented. This guy was the chosen one since day one. He was the 12-year-old phenom. He had a 500-foot homer in a high school home run derby when he was 15. And the E60's like, yeah, I went over the highway and it bounced right around here. Like,
no way that happened.
No, it didn't happen. But like a 500.
You know what? Maybe it did. I mean, who are we to not believe that? Of course it did. You know what?
So,
yes, it did.
Here's the thing, man.
I believe that over Mickey Mantle hitting in 985.
Because at least there's a video of teenage dumbass Bryce Harper like, yeah, I hit it right there.
Bryce Harper could tell me whatever he wants and I would just believe him. Like, he could say, no, that ball actually went farther than the video. It actually went 700 feet. And I'd be like, yes, sir. Yeah, it did. Absolutely. Sure. I believe you.
Absolutely. But the gist is this. Bryce Harper has accomplished pretty much everything there is to accomplish in baseball, aside from a World Series ring. But
I mean, you need that.
You do need it, but I mean, this guy on a game-by-game basis, like, he doesn't need to have a fire lit. Like, he's just so supremely talented. You give these guys any ammo, they're going to run with it. And that was amazing ammo that Arcia gave Bryce Harper.
And there's so many storylines within the storylines, right? Because you have a subsection of Braves fans that think it was completely fabricated, think that there is no legitimacy to it. And then post-game, you see the Braves talking about it and saying, yeah, we did say it. And then Travis d'Arnaud in his post-game presser shouldn't have gotten out of the clubhouse. We don't trust the media anymore. You know, you have other journalists, maybe not even associated with the Braves, basically blaming the media for taking that story and running. guys, this is theater.
It
I mean,
was,
this is sports. It's also not as deep as everybody's making it.
yeah.
If it wasn't real, Bryce Harper wouldn't have stared at him twice. So we didn't do anything wrong. We were told this. Bryce Harper was told this. And he looked like the greatest player of all time. He just needed a little extra fire under his belly.
And here's the thing. You can point fingers if you want. It was Jake Mintz of Cespedes Family Barbecue, and they're associated with Fox now. And Jake and Jordan at Cespedes Family Barbecue have done an amazing job covering baseball since 2016. I want to say I feel like I was in high school when I first hit the follow button on Cespedes Family Barbecue.
The last time the Astros weren't in the ALCS.
2016. But like Jake has been very hand up, I did it with this whole thing. And okay, you know what, like whatever protocol you want to have, and Travis Darno saying this is a sanctuary and nothing should leave that, you have like working media in there with you when you do that. So that was just bizarro, but I'll kind of walk you through this thought by thought, kind of same thing we did a couple nights ago where you kind of walked me through your stream of consciousness. I'll walk you through mine. Cool. We're starting with Phillies Braves. And again, it was a big win for the Phillies. Michael Lorenzen threw garbage time in the 9th inning. I did not think that was going to happen at the deadline.
I thought it was awesome, though, that he got in there, though.
For sure. But it also kind of felt like, hey, we'll throw you a bone and get you in here, when I thought this guy was actually going to be a big factor in the postseason, but not really the case. However, that's all right. It was Bryce Elder and Aaron Nola. Elder got the start. It was pretty much a toss-up between Elder and AJ Smith-Shawver. I thought that it was going to be Elder and then AJ's the piggybacker. Elder did a great job matching Nola early until he didn't, and we'll get to until he didn't. Yeah. But I thought right away, the punch out of Harper was big. Anytime you get Bryce Harper out in the postseason, it feels big. It has some gravity to it. And Acuna and Albies supplying the first run with that 1-2 punch lightning quick was classic. And I want to highlight that about Acuna because, yes, he was a 40 homer guy. Yes, he's so electrifying. But he's also one of the best, if not the best, table setters in all of baseball. This guy can get things started for Atlanta, and Albies was the beneficiary of that.
That's why he's the MVP, right? He does everything. Setter. He is the best table setter in Major League Baseball. He had one of the greatest table setting seasons in all of Major League history, right? The only really guy you can kind of compare him to at the top of the lineup winning MVPs like that, Ricky Henderson.
Yeah.
So,
and he is the greatest leadoff man in baseball history, Ricky Henderson. So Acuna had a table setter, Ricky Henderson type season. This was my note on the Castellanos homer. Big, long guy meets pitch inside and pimps the hell out of it. He's a big, long man. He's got a long swing at points, and that was clearly not off the barrel, but he muscled that thing out just above the handle of the bat, and that was a really impressive homer.
Nick Castellanos, for me, is the player that I have done a complete 180 on. Earlier in his career, I thought, I made fun of him. I thought he was a great American ballpark merchant. I thought he was really bad defensively. I thought, whenever I heard him talk, I was like, oh, you're kind of a tool. I just didn't like him very much. I've completely turned around. This guy, I love, he's pointing to the stands after he hit that home run to his son. The ring finger thing, like, there's one thing to be a tool and there's another thing to be just like a baseball player. If that makes sense. Like, I think you understand what I'm saying here. He's just so Philly. And I have really fallen for this Red October theme, this us against the world mentality. And every presser now that he's in, like, the answers are just hilarious. He plays hard. He plays the game the right way. I have done a complete 180 on Nick Castellanos. He's turning into one of my favorite players to watch. I just love him now.
He's funny. He's hilarious. I'm glad that he got paid, and I'm glad that he's in Philly because they did a great job. Dave Dombrowski, Samfeld did a great job IDing guys that represent Philly really well. And I think Schwarber is a great example of that. Obviously, Harper's a great example of that. But Castellanos is a sneaky, awesome Philadelphia Philly. Bryce Harper is playing pissed. Holy smokes. That was my note on the first homer.
I have no other notes other than I am sitting back in awe of greatness, right? And I think we all kind of have to appreciate that at points. Sometimes the games can kind of skate by you, right? You see something amazing and then sometimes, the play with Michael Harris, people were calling that the greatest ending to a playoff game. I mean, that's bullshit, right?
False.
But it's cool to just acknowledge it in the moment. Like, I was sitting on my couch watching that game, thinking to myself, don't forget these moments, because Bryce Harper is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the greatest players of our generation. Remember the year 2023. Remember the stare. Remember the 2 home runs in Game 3 of the National League Division Series against one of the greatest regular season teams, one of the greatest offenses, the prohibitive favorite to win the World Series, and all Bryce Harper needed was for you to laugh at him. Orlando Arcia didn't say, "Oh, Bryce Harper, I mean, who cares about him," right? We posted on our Twitter, same energy in quotes, with the Dylan Brooks quote about LeBron James is like, he's an old person, right? He's got to give me 40, or like directly calling him out.
Yeah.
This was a quote in the locker room, basically saying, haha, nice play, Harper. A very subtle, small joke, but the greatness of Bryce Harper. Remember this moment, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to remember it for the rest of my life. I sat there on the couch in awe of greatness.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I was texting with our guy, Taylor Davis, and he texted me at 6:07. He said, 1 at bat to win it all, Bryce or Jordan. I said, at this very moment, Jordan. That's at 6:07. He said, I think so too, but gosh dang, is it close? And then at 6:10, he said, ... LOL. And I said, can I change my answer? And then at 6:57, he said, ha ha ha, dude. I mean, it's insane that we were just having that conversation in real time.
It's so funny. I got a DM on Twitter and someone says gun to your head, because I'm the biggest gun to your head guy.
Yeah,
you have
I'm
to make
the punch
an answer.
Me in the face guy. You're the gun to your head
gun to your head guy. We're all about just hurting ourselves in order to make a take.
For sure.
Gun to your head, who would you take bottom of the 9th, bases loaded, kind of that hitter, Jordan or Harper? And I just said, shoot me. I can't, I have so many takes. I could go off the cuff. I could really form an opinion on anything.
Yeah.
I physically can't.
Now, would you call them sound opinions, or do you just have opinions?
That's for the audience to decide. I think they're all perfect every time, but
Got it. Yeah. I love your humility.
Except for the Twins to win the series. I owe the people an apology, but we'll get to that.
Sure. JT Realmuto had another big knock. JT has been a sneaky, huge factor this series in the early goings. And Realmuto, I think, is a guy that I guess is slept on in this lineup because there are other guys with way more sex appeal. Harper might be the sexiest dude in the postseason, he and Yordan Alvarez. But when Castellanos does something, it feels bigger. Hell, I got up for that Stott grand slam more than some of these high leverage homers from Realmuto. Realmuto has just been such a consistent factor and such a steady presence in this Phillies lineup. And I don't know where he stacks up in terms of longest tenured Phillies, but since the trade, there's been a lot of turnover, and I feel like Realmuto has just kind of been there. And he is a great catcher and team leader to have.
I'm so glad you brought him up, because I wrote down on my Google Docs, somehow JT Realmuto is still underrated. And what I mean by that is, right, I think you can make the argument for other catchers in Major League Baseball maybe being better than him, right? Had a little bit of a down regular season. But that's what makes the Phillies so incredible, that when the moment is here, all these guys become the best in the business, right?
Yeah.
Sean Murphy ain't even playing right now. JT Realmuto against the Braves. For all those watching on YouTube and you're not hearing any audio, it's just because I'm shrugging my shoulders. We kind of all know what I mean right now.
No, we know who the
Let's
better catcher is. And d'Arnaud has, earned the start with the homer yesterday, back-to-back starts, and Murphy has really struggled. But Real Muto is a guy that is never going to find himself out of the lineup. Back to the hill, my next note, Aaron Nola, I just wrote down his postseason stat line, 12 and 2/3, 9 hits, 1 run, 12 Ks, and 2 walks. I know the pitch count ran up in the early innings and he kind of worked around some foot traffic. He scattered some hits. I think it was 5 and 2/3, 6 hits. I don't care. Oh my God, he looks so good. And this co-ace thing is fully back and it disappeared for the entirety of the regular season. And wouldn't you know, we're back for the postseason right where it birthed in the early goings of the 2022 playoffs. It was Wheeler Nola. Nola tapered off. We'll see what he looks like moving forward if he gets more starts. But man, they got co-aces right now.
Yeah, Arm and I talked about it, I think, on yesterday's show when we were previewing this game, and we thought the Braves had a good chance of scoring a bunch of runs off Aaron Nola, because even Arm said that he didn't think Nola pitched all that well against the Marlins, and I watched that start. I didn't think he pitched all that well either. We both kind of agreed. We thought it was more the Marlins sucking than Aaron Nola pitching all that well. He was getting balls off the corners, but we gave him credit, right, for having the command, sticking there, knowing he's going to get the call. And that's just what Aaron Nola has been doing, right? He doesn't have this stuff of Zach Wheeler, but he has very similar command, and he can go to so many different pitches. And he's not afraid of the moment. And that's the point about the Phillies. That's what makes them so good. Is I'm not saying the Braves are afraid of the moment, because that's not what I think. I just think the Phillies use the moment to their advantage rather than just showing up and not playing scared. And I think that's what Aaron Nola does, is that the going gets tough and he keeps going. Now, very similar story happened, right? As we progress through the playoffs, it got a little bit worse for Aaron Nola. So I'm excited to see how he ends this. But it's the same story as last postseason. You get him in the early goings, and he looks like a true ace.
This is really deja vu. Doesn't it feel? It feels very deja vu.
It's the same thing. Now, let's see if they can get over the hump here.
Yeah. Final note on this. I had 2. AJ Smith-Shawver, unfortunately, just out there to wear it. He wore it from Castellanos again. He wore it from Trey. He wore it from Brandon Marsh. It kind of sucked to see Smith-Shawver throw garbage time innings. I thought this guy could handle leverage. And I actually, going into the game, I didn't get a chance to say it on a hot mic, but obviously you could say, oh, well, hindsight's 2020. I think AJ is probably built for postseason pitching more so than Bryce Elder is, because Elder pitches to contact. He pitches through traffic. Like Smith-Shawver is, I'm going to get you to whiff. And I think the postseason requires whiffs more so than what Elder brings to the table.
I totally get what you're saying. And he could have done a little bit better. But here was my thoughts. Didn't fucking matter who was on the mound.
No.
Didn't matter. It was
probably
AJ Smith-Shawver. Could have been Bob Gibson. The Phillies are at home, and it's Red October.
Well, it was the modern day Greg Maddux on the hill.
Yeah, that's what we were joking about. And I even tweeted, I was like, Bryce Elder might tie Kerry Wood here. That's how good he looked early on. And then it just snapped. And the Phillies did Phillies things. So to your point, I agree. That sentiment of you want more swing and miss. You want less guys on base. You want the ability to strike out guys. That's why Strider has been good in the playoffs, right? All these big time guys, you got to rack up the strikeouts in order to be effective in the playoffs. However, AJ Smith-Shawver, while he has that over Elder, still 20.
He is. He was born in 2002.
I'm nervous sitting here watching. I'm 20. How old am I? I'm 25. How did I forget my own age? What an idiot. That's why I could never make it on the mound right now.
When was the last time somebody asked you how old you were?
No, nobody gives a shit.
That's the thing.
Yeah. I forgot my own age.
It's a tough look. And it's 12:08 a.m. I get it.
It's late.
Happy Thursday, Peter. Final note on Phillies Braves, all caps. I cannot wait to see Strider throw in Philly, period. And you're going to go see him live. And I'm really jealous. And I hope you have a great time.
Yeah, I bet on Phillies money line.
Already.
Because if I didn't bet on Phillies money line, I think, and the Phillies won, and I'm
Yeah, you
sitting
get
there with a
murked.
losing ticket, I would get destroyed. And at least if I'm on Phillies money line, I can just soak it in. Let's say they lose, I can soak it in with the fans. I'm just as depressed as you guys are. Actually, that's such a lie. No way I could be as depressed as them because they're also probably hammering the Phillies and they're the biggest Phillies fans in the world. So, yeah, I cannot wait to be there. And Strider has dominated the Phillies.
Yeah.
But this is a different animal. This feels better than last year. Does it not?
No, it
Now
does.
they have Trey Turner.
It
Like,
feels
remember him?
more.
We haven't even mentioned him.
No, I mentioned Trey in passing because he was one of the guys that just violated AJ Smith-Shawver.
That's a good point.
All right, moving to Astros Twins here. My first
Wait,
note.
before we move on, just a second. Brandon Marsh is such a beast. Bryson Stott is such a beast. The
Yeah,
whole
they're
lineup
all
is
good.
so good. Like, we didn't even talk about those guys. They're also amazing. Like, we talked about Realmuto, Harper, Schwarber, Turner, but from 1 to 9, there's no breaks. And they all have the Philly attitude, not just a couple of them. You could see the energy that Harper started spread out amongst the team, right? He was even asked in the presser when he was told by his teammates about what Arcia said. They asked him, "What are you going to do?" It's the coldest shit I've ever heard.
It was so gross.
So
In the best way, it was so
yeah,
gross.
it was so cool.
Like, wow, you're sick. All right, Astros Twins. My first note here was the line drive double play ball to Jeremy Pena. Great play by Pena. Nothing Julian could do about that after the leadoff double. Like, it was a liner right at Pena. Like, I know that there was a secondary lead step there and whatever. Like, there was nothing he could do. Great play by Jeremy Pena.
Yeah, in the moment, upset at Julian, but looking back on it, tough play. And that's just kind of the series. Tough.
Mm-hmm.
You just got Astrode.
A note from Aram. Royce Lewis has 15 homers in his last 32 games. He's just amazing.
Yeah. Royce Lewis, 4 home runs in the playoffs for the Twins. That is tied for the second most in Minnesota Twins history to Kirby Puckett, who has 5. And Royce Lewis has been on the Twins for about 15 minutes.
It was, I think, 24 or 25 postseason plate appearances now that Lewis is up to, and he's got 4 homers. Puckett has 5 and 105 plate appearances. Yeah, so in a quarter of a time, yeah, he's got 80% of the home run output. Next one, Brantley. Big ball was going to be a problem against Joe Ryan, I guess. Just shocked it wasn't Yordan. Ryan looked comfortable, but the big ball's been his issue. 32 homers on the year. Great note by AJ Pierzynski. 22 of the 32 homers allowed came in the front 3 innings. So it's when he's getting into a rhythm in the ball game is when he's most susceptible to the long ball, and Brantley attacked. Brantley's a pro hitter, and he got that shit done against Joe Ryan.
I mean, that's how good the Astros are, right? We talk about Altuve, Bregman, Yordan, Abreu, continue down the line. But it's like Michael Brantley now has the home run to even it up, the score at 1-1. And before we just continue through our takes, I don't think that whenever we get a prediction wrong, like there's an apology that has to be made. But on this show, I gave out a bet. And whenever I give out a bet, and whenever I recommend someone putting their money on something, I always feel the need, and I think this is what people should do when we're talking about money, is apologize for a bad take. I said on this show, I think it's a good idea to take the Twins plus 350. Now, I don't know if anybody tailed it and is still now listening and is upset with me, and I'm upset with me too. I lost my money too. And I said on the show the day before, I'm one of the only podcast hosts who, when they make takes, they're genuinely putting their money where their mouth is. And I stand on that, but at the same time, I was wrong about this series. I undervalued the Astros' ability to hit pitching no matter how good it is. And I undervalued how good the Astros are when the going gets tough. And I overvalued the Twins offense as a whole, fell in love with the starting pitching, fell in love with the bullpen. But I also want to make something clear, because everyone's saying that I have a hatred for the Astros. That couldn't be farther from the truth. Guys, I know I'm a Yankee fan, but if you listen to the show, you know I actually kind of hate the Yankees. It is not carrying over to hate about the Astros. I try and find value in the market. I thought I did, and I was wrong. It has nothing to do with my hatred for the Astros. I am obsessed with this series against the Rangers, and that's all I got, right? I'm sorry. Bad take. Learn from it. And I hope you'll trust me moving forward.
Nice. I don't put any money down, so I have nothing to say.
No, it's it's a me thing. It's a me thing with the people who may have followed me. I apologize.
Got you. All right. Moving past the Brantley thing, getting to the managerial decision. If this was game 3, I would really, really, really hate the move from Rocco Baldelli to pull Joe Ryan after 2. With this being an elimination game in game 4, I only kind of hate it. I wish they got 3 more outs from Joe Ryan, and I do fully believe that they could have gotten 3 more outs from Joe Ryan. And I know that they had a script. Rocco made it very clear to Tom Verducci that they did have a script kind of going into this, and they plan to empty the bullpen. But he left, I think, 7 guys for 7 innings after you pulled Ryan after 2. And that is like tight roping. I don't know how you can do that as a manager in an elimination game. I would try and wring 3 more outs out of Ryan. I feel so much better with 7 guys for 6 innings than I do 7 for 7. And I know that Paddock was there. I know that Varland was there. And hell, they made Yohan Duran get 6 outs. But man, I thought that was such a gutsy move, but like not in a way where the payoff is amazing. I just didn't love it at all that Rocco Baldelli yanked him after 2 innings.
It's funny. I actually completely disagree. And the reason, Joe Ryan really struggled down the stretch, and I didn't think that he would dominate this game. I thought he could get them through a couple innings. That was kind of my thought. And knowing they have Varland, knowing they have Paddock, knowing they have Duran and Stewart and Jax, and they had so many well-rested arms, that I thought it was the right move. That I thought the only way to slow down this Astros offense is to continually give them different looks every single inning, because they are just too prolific. And we saw even at the bottom of the lineup, when Michael Brantley hit that home run, I was thinking to myself, I do not want Joe Ryan to go through this lineup again. I do not. Because you even look at his stats too, as his starts progress, his numbers start getting worse, and it was almost drastic, and it has been showing up in the latter part of this season. So the fact that they had all these guys, I thought he made the right move. Now, there was a couple of situations where, did you bring in the right reliever at this time? However, I thought that was really the only chance that they had. Because if Urquidy is dealing, you have to give them your best. And think about it. I would rather have Brock Stewart in for an inning than Joe Ryan right now. I would rather have Griffin Jackson for an inning. Chris Paddock looked better. Like, all of those options were better.
In a vacuum, for sure. I agree with you. Like, hey, I would rather see Brock Stewart throw an inning than Joe Ryan throw an inning, but you got to play the big picture game a little bit. Now, I thought that they had 7 innings to go. They had to get 21 outs. And you're relying on 7 guys that are, for the most part, short burst relievers to get you 21 outs. That's not, like, there's no room for error there.
Yeah, but there was also some error with Joe Ryan too, right?
There was one error, and the errors happen early. They always happen
with Caleb Thielbar, which is so funny because Caleb Thielbar all season long for the Minnesota Twins has been one of the best left-handed relievers in baseball. Hadn't allowed a home run to a lefty all season long. And I understand. Because what I like to do, I just like to scroll on Twins Twitter or whoever Twitter whenever there's some sort of situation. I just want to see what the scuttlebutt is. And now it's not a direct representation of the entire fan base, but there's plenty of accounts out there. People are tweeting stuff, and everyone was kind of saying, Thielbar in, like, to face the lefties, like Tucker. We saw his slugging all time against lefties. It's like top 5 ever. Jordan's 2 to Barry Bonds. However, you got to go to your lefty against the lefties, right? And we saw the righties have more success down the line, but at the end of the day, like, that was, I thought, the best point to put in Caleb Thielbar. So to your point, yes, it's a little bit riskier. However, you weren't asking any of those relievers to do anything more than they're used to, right? You didn't have Brock Stewart going 3 innings. You didn't have Thielbar going 3 innings. You had 7 relievers for 7 innings. And that was their job. They're short burst relievers, but they only got an inning.
So Brock Stewart, if I'm not mistaken, saw 8-9-1 or 9-1-2. And then Thielbar came on, I think, 3-hitter was the start of the lefties.
Yes.
It was 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So Stewart saw 9-1-2. Ryan made quick work of 1-2. I trusted Ryan to get through 9-1-2 and then hand the ball off to Thielbar. So I thought you could have shelved Brock Stewart, saved him for later. But if Joe Ryan could get you through 11 hitters and then you hand the ball to Thielbar for that stretch of lefties, I think that opens up a little bit more for you later. But obviously that didn't matter because the Twins bullpen was amazing and it worked out after that. So shout out Rocco. I didn't love the idea, but it clearly worked aside from the Abreu homer. My note on the Abreu homer, Jose Abreu is hitting the absolute crap out of the ball right now. And I'm so excited to see what he does in the ALCS because out of nowhere, he had 3 tanks, absolute tanks. The 2 yesterday went 440, and the one tonight was hit on a line off the facade. That was a really impressive display across the last, 24, 36 hours from Jose Abreu.
They're just a dangerous bunch. The fact that Abreu is now heating back up to MVP level 2020 shortened season COVID year, Abreu. What are people going to do? Michael Brantley. And I think it's important also to realize that the Astros offense did not look as prolific as the Rangers, but the Rangers were facing far inferior pitching. Like, for the Astros to do what they were doing against what I thought was potentially the best pitching staff from the number 1 starter all the way to the bottom of the bullpen, overall the best pitching staff, like, they were hitting, right? Like, and they were mixing and matching. Like, what Rocco was doing was he was using potentially the best bullpen left in the playoffs, and you're getting a new guy every inning, and the Astros are still hanging in.
Yeah.
And all you got to do is make one mistake. Thielbar gave up the single to Jordan. Then he actually got out Tucker. One mistake. Game's over. That's what the Astros do. All they need is one. And I loved how they put up Jordan and Tucker slugging percentage against lefties, because I was like, what do we always say about Barry Bonds? What do all pitchers always say about Barry Bonds? One mistake. One mistake. And the game is over. Because what I also said when I was previewing the bet was, well, if Abreu and Presley come in, the game's over anyway. The game is over. Over.
Yep.
Brian Abreu, Ryan Presley. I mean, give me a break. They are so good.
Yeah. Next note, strikeout pitch to Kepler was a ball. When Royce Lewis stole second base and they rung him up to end the inning, that was a ball. And that sucks. That really sucks. I love Julianne with all my heart. Quote of the postseason that isn't Attaboy Harper, because Attaboy Harper is quote of the postseason. Quote of the American League side of the postseason came from Adam Wainwright. Second pitch of Yohan Duran's night was 101 at the top of the zone. And there was a little bit of silence, and Waino goes, man, I wish I could do that. That looks fun. And I thought that was just so organic and wholesome from Waino. And I was like, you know what? Shit, there are so many big league pitchers that wish they could do what Yohan Duran does. There are Cy Young Award winners that wish they could do what Duran was. That guy is as gifted in arm as maybe we've ever seen.
No, nobody in Major League Baseball can do what he does.
Nobody. He's an anomaly.
He throws 98-mile-an-hour splitters. I mean, that's just not normal.
That
even Chapman at his
splitter,
peak. Go ahead.
No. Three pitch punch out to Yordan Alvarez. The 0-1 splitter 98 low, when he chased like ankle high. That's the filthiest pitch in baseball history, and show me a more filthy one.
No,
I
I
think
agree.
maybe the Greg Maddux 2 seam where like he said that ball was clearly scuffed and he rode the scuff. But dude, that 98-mile-an-hour splitter that bottomed out on Yordan Alvarez in the postseason this year was the craziest pitch I've ever seen.
You should not be able to throw a 98-mile-an-hour pitch that drops off the table. That is reserved for Clayton Kershaw and Adam Wainwright curveballs that are 76.
Yeah.
98. What are we talking about here? This is a video game type pitcher. And you saw it on full display. Like, again, when I said we have to remember that what we saw from Harper in that game was pure greatness, we also have to remember to sit back and remember that AB between Yohan Duran and Yordan Alvarez. I mean, that is one of the great power pitchers in MLB history facing off against one of the great power hitters who will be in MLB history. Like, I made a TikTok about Yordan Alvarez. He's at 129 career home runs, 35 home runs for the next 15 seasons. He's closing in on 700. That's not out of the realm of possibility for a 26-year-old. Like, remember these ABs. We're going to remember the Yohan Duran versus Yordan Alvarez at bat in 2023 for a long time.
Made him look silly. I was close to laughing in a sad way at the Byron Buxton return because there was massive standing ovation, crowd got raucous, and then just pool noodles a ball over to first base. It was so sad.
Was that more embarrassing than striking out?
Maybe.
I mean, that was the weakest piece of contact. We're talking about how Yohan Duran, we're being very reactionary about MLB history. I mean, that was possibly the weakest pop-up in MLB history. But respect to Byron Buxton, like, I like that Rocco Baldelli put him in there
For sure.
right? Nobody
Better
else
that than like an Andrew
anyway.
Stevenson.
Yeah.
And Andrew Stevenson's great, but like Buxton is such a huge piece of the Minnesota Twins, and he's financially compensated as such. And I know that it was kind of a year from hell for him, and aggravating injuries, part billion for Byron Buxton. But with that buildup for that little dink off of the end of his bat, I was like, you're kidding me. This is so sad. But he ran into the buzzsaw of Brian Abreu. When we put together our top 10 relievers list going into next year, I will petition hard for Abreu being above Presley, even though I think Presley's awesome.
Yeah, he's also unbelievable. Like, he's one of the greatest postseason relievers in Major League history.
I think he's 13 for 13 in his save opportunities in the postseason.
He's also lights out. Like, both of them are doing the same thing. It's just Brian Abreu throws harder.
Presley's breaking ball on 3-2 to Royce Lewis, where he had him way out in front. Game was over on that pitch. Kepler stood zero chance after that to Royce Lewis.
I thought the game was over when Jose Abreu hit the home run. No, but seriously, that's what I was sitting on my couch watching that game. The game was over. The Twins, like,
Dr. Hindsight reporting for duty.
No, I'm telling you what were my genuine thoughts at the time. I swear. I thought the game was over then. Like, I was like, oh, maybe the Twins can keep it close. But, like, there's just some instances in the game that if you don't get the break, you're just not going to win, right? The Kepler call, Julian getting thrown out, and then Royce Lewis hitting the home run, so it's only 1-0. Like, you only get so many breaks in the playoffs. And when you don't take advantage of them, you're not going to win the game. And that first inning where Julian gets called out and then hit a home run, I'm like, all right, well, they're going to need more. Then Brantley, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe the Twins can win. Then when Jose Abreu hit that, I'm like, yeah, it's probably over. And then when that call to Kepler happened, I was like, now it's definitely over. That was genuinely my thoughts.
Got you. Last thing, the thing that I love and hate about baseball at the same time is it is the one sport where you can't put the ball in the best player's hands when it matters most. And like, I'm not talking pitcher. Who was standing in the on-deck circle when the Twin season ended?
Correct.
Carlos Correa against the Houston Astros. The Celtics can put the ball in Tatum's hands. I don't know why Jason Tatum just popped into my mind. But like, the Bucks can put the ball in Giannis's hands. The ball can be at Messi's feet for Argentina in the 90th minute.
Julius
you could,
Randle's hands. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Julius Randle. Yeah.
for sure. But like Dame time is a thing. Like it's not Anthony Simons time because the situation demands Anthony Simons over Damian Lillard. Now it's Anthony Simons time. Yeah, he actually goes a little bit lower on his wrist.
Yeah.
But that's the thing that kind of gets me about baseball is I wanted so badly to see Correa up there for the last chance for the Minnesota Twins, but it's such a situational game, and that's part of what I love about baseball. Kepler matters just as much as Carlos Correa in the 9th inning.
Yeah, I hate to be a pessimist, but Presley wasn't going to give up a hit.
No.
So
if Correa stepped up, I'm thinking we're watching Game 5.
I don't.
Oh,
no, but like they're too good. I mean, no, that is just a testament to Presley and Abreu. They are too good. It's not even a question for me anymore. It doesn't matter really. Like maybe once every 5 years, you'll see one hit from them. I don't even want to say a run. Like you might see them get to the 4th guy in the inning, and then they'll get the strikeout. They're too damn good. These are 2 top 5 relievers in baseball back to back. And arguably,
I was conservative when I said top 10. I think they could both be in the 5 range.
Right? Like, and I know we're being overreactionary, and I keep wanting to say Devin Williams, but I keep saying to myself, like, when we see these guys continually do it over and over and over again, like bottom of the 9th inning in the World Series, you want Ryan Presley or Devin Williams? Like Ryan Presley. Isn't that the answer for who's the better reliever? Who you want in the biggest moment? Ryan Presley, so. I want.
But you also gotta factor in the full season. Like the regular season means so much. And
I know, but like, no, not really.
Devin's great.
I don't give a shit. I think Presley's the best. And Abreu's like somehow better. I don't even know if he's better. I don't know.
Abreu is better. I stand by that.
They're both it's both 3 up, 3 down. It's just Abreu does it with more power, but it's the same result.
But like everything that comes out of Presley's hand is spinning at like 4,000 RPMs.
It's impossible. I don't know anybody hits it ever.
No. So yeah, those are my takeaways from Houston. And Houston and Texas and the ALCS is going to be so much fun. Much fun.
That's the American League version of Phillies Braves. I mean, that's just must watch every inning of every game. And I hope it goes 7. But the Astros own the Rangers, unfortunately. And not unfortunately for us, not unfortunately for Astros, unfortunately for the Rangers. 9-4 this season. You look at the long track record of the last decade, and I know the Rangers haven't been as prolific as the Astros, so that points to it. But this season, when the Rangers were great, the Astros still beat them up. So how can we not pick the Astros to advance over the Rangers? Because while the Rangers bats look hot, what are they going to hit Presley and Abreu? Like
probably. No, they're probably going to put up. They're probably going to put 8 up on Urquidy, and then they're going to put 8 up on Verlander, and then they're going to put 7 up on Framber. Like that's just how this shit.
That's what you think? I don't know. I don't know that.
Yeah, I'm picking Texas without thinking twice.
I'm so done picking against the Astros. They own me. Do you know how much they own me, Jack?
A lot.
Last year, Phillies were my Cinderella team, and I actually got that one right. Picked the Phillies to win the World Series. I was like, this team is different. Red October, no way they lose. And what did the Astros do? They won. I picked the Twins. Astros win again. I pick against Javier. He regresses to a 1-hitter instead of a no-hitter. I'm done. I'm going to just... No, but Astros fans, can you guys DM me on Twitter? Would you rather me pick against you? Just so you guys can win? Honestly.
The haters.
No, they're not even haters. They're honestly good people to me, which is funny because it's like they're almost big brothering me. It's almost embarrassing for me.
No, like they're just on your shoulder and you say, come with us.
Yeah, they're like smushing me in the locker. They're like, it's okay, Peter. We know. Like, you just don't get it. So I don't know what to do. I'm just going to pick the Astros. Unless, Astros fans, if you want me to pick against you, I will for you. So just let me know.
All right, wrapping up with Dodgers Diamondbacks in Arizona. Sweep in the desert. Look at the desert power, man. First note. Who knew Brandon Pfaadt and Lance Lynn were going to give us the best first inning of the series?
I made a joke. It wasn't funny.
Congrats.
No, I'm going to say it. It wasn't funny. It was the first time in postseason history for the Los Angeles Dodgers that the starting pitcher did not give up 8 earned runs in the first inning.
Ouch.
Ouch. I mean, this was the most pathetic series in a long time.
This was
like Dodger fans. I posted on Twitter too. I was like, quick huddle, air it out right now. You could feel the pain, and it was a numbness. It was like other series hurt. This was pathetic. Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith, Max Muncy played okay. JD Martinez, and then the bottom of the lineup was nowhere to be found. Yeah, the pitchers gave up some runs. They didn't play well. But it was 19-6 in 3 games. What was our worry about the Diamondbacks, Jack?
That they were going to get battered pitching-wise.
Nope. This amazing Dodgers offense. Again and again and again.
Yeah.
Nothing. Every time. And I think, and Mookie is one of my favorite players ever. I have him on my wall behind me. So disappointed. I'm so disappointed. And I'm trying to make the case that he is the second best player in baseball to Shohei Ohtani. How can I do that? It's the big moments. What are the stats? Read them to us.
What is he? 3 for 40, 3 for 41, 3 for his last 41 in the postseason.
And what have the Dodgers done in those games?
A whole bunch of nothing. Stinky.
He's the engine that makes this team go.
And
Freddie was terrible too. But
yeah.
I think it's on Mookie. Mookie's the guy.
It's on the tandem.
It's on the tandem, but Mookie is the guy that starts it.
And can we also heap praise on the Diamondbacks offense real quick? Because they were stunning. And
they're amazing. They are amazing. I want to pick the Phillies or the Braves too, but like, how can I doubt the Diamondbacks? Unbelievable.
So
incredible.
Walking through kind of how I saw that, that was the 4th inning? Yeah, 4th inning unfold. Oh, nice. Perdomo. Like, he's the one that gets it started. Cool. Oh, my God, it's happening on the Ketel Marte one. Oh, my God, it's happening on the Christian Walker one. On the foul ball from Moreno, I was like, no way. That would have been too good. Very next pitch, I damn near fell off my futon. I was like, you're joking. That was an incredible sequence. And that was the Milhouse from the Simpsons meme. Stop it, you're killing him, or something like, stop it, he's already dead. That was the Gabby Moreno foul ball and then the home run. I was looking at that like, this is the most demoralizing inning of Dodger baseball in a long time.
I audibly said, I'm sitting alone in my apartment. I have never seen anything like it. And I was so glad to hear on the broadcast that they said that was the first time in postseason history where a team has hit 4 home runs in an inning. Because I swore, like, I'm a reactionary type guy. And I was like, no way have I ever seen that before. And they did it. The Snakes bit. And they bit hard. And they injected their venom into the Dodgers. And the Dodgers folded like origami.
Can I just say the next half inning from Pfaadt was massive. And I thought that Brandon Pfaadt was, relatively speaking, excellent. He gave them everything they needed from him and more. The next half inning, after those 4 homers in the inning, 1, 2, 3 on 7 pitches, got a first pitch line out from Mookie Betts, got Freeman to bounce out, and then punched out JD Martinez on 3 pitches. That is as shut down as you get. The 2 superstars who combined to make, about $500 million, $325 for Mookie, $168 for Freddie. So I think you're just a little bit short. But man, like, shutting those 3 down as a rookie at home on the heels of the biggest half inning of your season was absolutely incredible. And Pfaadt handing the ball to Mantiply, I was like, dude, job well done, you former Bellarmine Knight, Brandon Pfaadt, you. And then Mantiply was great out of the pen. And this game was honestly on cruise control until the back-to-back, looped singles to left from Taylor and Kike. And on the Kike single, like, my last real note on this game was if Longoria didn't cut that off, I thought they had Will Smith at the plate, but I'm not sure if you remember it that vividly, but I saw the catcher kind of jumping up and down. Yeah, it was like, I think they got him. I think that throw was online and it would have been in time, but it doesn't really matter. We're good.
It never ended up mattering, but no, that was funny. I kind of had the same reaction, and I want to be honest. I thought Brandon Pfaadt pitched well. Diamondbacks bullpen did well. It was the Dodgers offense, I thought.
Yeah.
I just think it could have been anybody. That team just did not show up. Terrible at bats. And when I posted that thing about the Dodgers, about, air it out, some people were saying, Dave Roberts this, Dave Roberts that. We need a change of leadership. And I understand after the game, you just want a new voice in there because it's so unbelievably difficult to understand what is happening here. And yes, Dave Roberts pinch hitting Colton Wong, pinch hitting Austin Barnes for David Peralta. When David Peralta hits lefties, that's not really a problem for him. Yeah, probably dumb decisions, but I think what he's just trying to do is like, can I do anything? Can we inject any life into this at all? I think he's just sitting there confused, like any person would be. Like even the best manager in the history of the world, I don't think could have turned this lineup around. Like it's on them. I don't blame Dave Roberts for a second. I place all of the blame on the top of this Dodgers lineup.
Yeah. I'm going to put any hot seat conversation that I see to bed.
Yeah, I mean, what did he didn't do anything wrong.
It's
you can point to a couple of decisions and be like, shouldn't have pinch hit there. Whatever. Like, what was David Peralta then going to hit a home run? No.
What's he supposed to do with an anemic offense?
Yeah, he's just trying anything to get anybody to show up. I mean, like David Peralta, sure, like he's better against lefties. He wasn't hitting anything. None of them were. So it's we bitched about the Miguel Rojas for Colton Wong AB. I went back and I kind of sat with it and I was like, what, was Miguel Rojas going to get a hit there? No.
And Wong walked.
Different.
And Wong walked. So yeah, I don't think any of this was on Dave Roberts. I don't want to sit here and say the Dodgers need to spend money in the offseason, but
they need to expand the payroll. No, I have another joke. It's not funny. It's kind of mean. I should say it. The Dodgers are going to get Shohei. And they're going to lose in the first round again.
Maybe.
Not funny.
Here's the thing, though. Shohei, yeah, he can help the offense, but he can't help the pitching staff. And I think the pitching staff needs help, man. We'll see what they do with that club option on Lynn. I think it's a club option. It's 12:41 a.m. So it's either a club option or a player option. I'm pretty sure it's a club option at 19. I will check. But Buehler probably starting on opening day, right? You got Buehler, you got Bobby Miller. May is still going to be hurt, likely.
They lost everyone, dude.
Did Dustin May have an internal graft? I know it was a forearm thing. Yeah. If he had an internal graft, he might be close on opening day. I'm not sure that timeline wraps up, but like Gonsolin's out for the entire year. Kershaw, who knows? Urias gone. So right now you're looking at Walker, you're looking at Bobby Miller, you're looking at Stone, Tapio Sheehan.
Probably.
That's not going to win you 100 games.
Yeah, but they'll still win 100 games. That's the thing. They'll still win 100 games.
But
it's just we're going to get in the playoffs. We're going to believe in them again. We're going to see a really big run differential, and they're going to lose in the first round again, unless they make massive changes. But that's the thing. What changes do you make?
Dylan Cease for a bunch of double-A guys.
Okay, they got a hit.
It's a club option at 18. I nailed it. They don't pick that up.
They got a hit. I mean, you already have Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman and Will Smith.
You've got Will Smith. Yeah, that's the thing.
They have all the. I don't know what you do. That's why the Dodgers are the most.
Michael Bush. Put Michael Bush in the lineup. Hope Miguel Vargas is right.
I mean, what's that gonna do? It's just. Maybe
top 100 prospects.
No, you're right.
Ready, they're big league ready.
Yeah, the potential of them. I mean, what are we talking about here? It has to be Mookie. It has to be Freddie. Mookie is 3 for 40. That's the issue. Freddie isn't hitting. That's the issue. You can talk about the pitching. Sure. Did the starters not do well? Who cares? They didn't hit anyway. It's kind of like what we were dealing with the semantics of what the Twins were dealing with their bullpen and stuff. It's like, who gives a shit? They weren't hitting. They don't have a Yordan. They did it.
Royce Lewis is Yordan. Royce Lewis is kind of Yordan.
No, he's just not. He's not.
4 pumps this postseason.
He's not Yordan.
How many did Yordan have?
Well, Yordan hit 4, I think, in 4 games.
I'm kidding. Yeah.
No, but yeah,
Royce Lewis is amazing.
They just don't have. They don't have that. They don't have what the Phillies have, and the Braves don't have that. Even though the Braves are like more talented than all of them combined, there's just something there. Those specific players on those teams are built for the big moments, and the players, it seems, right? We can only evaluate what we've seen. Aren't, right? Corey Seager goes to the Rangers. He's doing pretty good. They won a World Series with Corey Seager.
Seager and Turner are both on different teams, and Miguel Rojas is playing shortstop for them.
Yeah.
Do with that info what you will.
Yep.
All right. How excited are you for Phillies Braves tonight?
The most excited I think I've ever been for a baseball game in my life.
You're going to have a blast.
I cannot wait. So again, if you're at Citizens Bank, come say what's up. I cannot wait to be there. And that's going to be one of those games where I don't give a shit if the bet hits. I just want to be around Phillies fans. I mean, that's going to be. No, I actually hope the bets hit so I can be around Phillies fans if they win. But with that said, like, I don't want to disrespect the Braves, right? Because, I mean, they're still an amazing team and they still have Spencer Strider, right? They're big favorites in this game for a reason.
Yeah.
So
and I know you love the fan base too.
I love them both. I like the arguments. I like the rivalry. And that's why I'm like, when either fan base is coming at me for a take on the other team, I'm like, shut up. I like you both. Can I like you both? So that'll do it here for the Just Baseball show. It'll be jacket arm tomorrow because I will be knee deep in Red October. But I really appreciate you guys all listening. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe button, comment button. You all know the drill. And if you have been enjoying all these late night talks about the postseason, greatly appreciate rating review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And get yourself some Just Baseball merch in the episode description. All of this is brought to you by BetMGM. That's Jack. I'm Peter. We'll be back tomorrow. And with that, thank you, everybody.